I was really ready to sort of carve out some time to start building a career that could grow as my kids grew up. We went to Tennessee and Florida and then spent 3 weeks in France. And I just brought my computer and I worked in my free time. I didn't even have to be like, oh, I can't go to the Eiffel Tower. I have to work. I could just do what I needed to do and then write when I could write. And it was just beautiful. I spent so much of my life volunteering and doing things that took a lot of heart, but you never really get paid for it.
Ever wanted to travel to France, work when you want, and show your kids the magic of the world? Well, that's what Gabrielle, a homeschool mom of 4, did this summer. She wanted a career, one that could grow with her as her kids grew, but one that would not compromise her flexibility or her ability to homeschool. Enter grant writing. Now, 7 months into the collective, having never written a grant, she's earned $6K in grant writing revenue and has another $6K booked for the remainder of 2024. Her goal of being able to contribute an extra $1,000 per month to her mortgage is becoming more real every day. Let's meet Gabby. Welcome, Gabby. I'm so pumped to talk to you today.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Thinking back to your life pre-grant writing, what drew you to seek a grant writing training?
I've always really loved being able to take something that was complex for people and walk them through the process. And then at the end be like, oh my gosh, that was not that bad. I've been an elementary school teacher. I've worked with postpartum moms. I've been homeschooling for 7 years. And I was really ready to sort of carve out some time to start building a career that could grow as my kids grew up. I was looking up like, what do teachers do when they stop teaching? So many times grant writing popped up here and there. And I'm like, I don't know anything about that. How in the world am I going to do this? Because I have no experience. So I really started doing some research and I was like, oh my goodness, like this is such an amazing way to bring light into the world and to make a positive impact and maybe like pull in all these little skills that I have. That community aspect really stood out to me because I thought, man, I might have those underlying skills, but I really would love to have a community rallying around me and there when I need them and when I hit those bumps in the road.
Your why is so powerful. And I just had the image of like your business growing as your kids are growing and like all of these trees kind of blooming and blossoming together. You took your existing skills and said, what can I do with this to add light to the world? Another beautiful why. So cool. When you joined, what did your definition of success look like?
I needed something that I could do that would fulfill me, but also not take away from the other things that I love. Homeschooling and traveling are number 1 and 2. So even like this summer, we went to Tennessee and Florida and then spent 3 weeks in France. And I just brought my computer and I worked on my grant writing projects in my free time. I didn't even have to be like, oh, I can't go to the Eiffel Tower. I have to work. I could just do what I needed to do and then write when I could write. And it was just beautiful.
Is there a trick of how you're treating traveling that's differently than you would if you didn't have to work on the trip?
We love to stay places for multiple weeks. This summer in France, we did a house swap. So we were there for 3 weeks and we didn't have to rush around. My husband worked a couple days a week. I worked a little bit and our kids got breaks because kids can't go anyways.
And you have 4, right?
Yeah, I have 4. And they're from ages 4 to 14. So they all need breaks at different times.
It's really cool intentionality of flexibility, travel, and then the how you can do it, which is additional income that hopefully frees up more space and time to do more cool things like that.
Absolutely.
Like you're homeschooling, you're traveling, you're building a new career, you're switching mindsets here. Tell us about a challenging moment.
I'm really dealing with the time management and trying to figure out how much time I want to devote to each thing. How do I best do all of these things? And honestly, each week, some things win. Some weeks I'm like, okay, our food was very bare bones. Some weeks we're killing it on homeschooling. Some weeks I submit 2 grant applications. It's a balance.
How do you deal as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, all of these different identities that you hold when something isn't done as maybe perfectly or as well as you wanted it to be done?
Partly the homeschooling mindset really comes into play here because life is school. Sometimes I'm teaching my kids how to plan meals. Sometimes I'm teaching my kids how to step up and be responsible for their own work. Them seeing me work on things is also beneficial. beneficial. So I talk them through when I'm having struggles. This past week, I had a tricky issue with a deadline, and I was able to chat with my oldest about the struggles I was having and just showing him, one, we all make mistakes. Two, like, we need to make a plan for growing and to improving.
You're right. Like, life is school, and how special for your kids. The conversations obviously change depending on what age. Even your youngest is seeing like, wow, mom is doing hard things. Mom cares about so much in this world.
I'm working with a cat rescue here in town, and I've been able to take all 4 of my children at different times to go volunteer there. I'm writing grants for them. My oldest ones just went this last week, but we're cleaning litter boxes, washing baby kittens. And then a few weeks ago, my youngest girls went and they were like cuddling the babies. I'm trying to instill in them a heart to help, being able to fit in and see what their needs are and meet those needs.
How many kittens have you adopted since you've been working with this rescue?
How many have I wanted to adopt? So many, but again, travel. We want to travel too, so I have to balance my desires.
Cats are better than dogs for travel, but like 3 weeks in France, the cat can't be left alone.
At the house swap with had a cat, and that was her favorite part of it.
Oh, that is so special. What kind of projects are you working on? Do you want to tell us about something you've learned or what you're focusing on?
When I started, I had a very broad net. I have a background in education. I have a bachelor's and a master's in education. I've worked in the classroom. I've done all these education things. I thought I would go that direction, but honestly, it hasn't panned out that way. One of the organizations that I've been working with they use horse-assisted therapy for individuals who have a variety of disabilities, mostly children, but a small amount of adults also. A lot of these adults, they might have coverage until they're 18. And so they're in this therapy that's really helping them build confidence and strength and all these life skills. And then they turn 18 and all of a sudden it's not valuable anymore. And the insurance companies are like, oh, too bad. You have to pay for it yourself. We're working, trying to get scholarships for foster kids and then also for adults.
You got to make an impact in education and you moved that impact into your community as an extension of that. Now you get to bloom into this whole other realm of still supporting and adding so much light. It is so neat the way that grant writers' paths can twist and turn, and yet we're adding value everywhere.
In ways you wouldn't even expect.
Let's talk about what you're proud of in your grant writing journey.
It may sound a little bit funny, but I spent so much of my life volunteering and doing things that took a lot of heart, but you never really get paid for it, right? Yeah. And I really feel proud that I've been able to find something where my skills and my value is actually worth a paycheck that can benefit my family. I don't have to give that up to bring light into the world. I can do both.
You will do more good than just the work that you're doing, right? You will spend it in different places. You will use it to vote where your interests and your beliefs lie. And that is so powerful, to get money into the hands of people who want to add light into this world. Do you want to share kind of how much you've earned so far in the collective and how much you have booked for the rest of the year?
It's probably like small potatoes to some people. I'm really proud. I had made up this number in my mind. It was like, if I could just throw $1,000 a month toward my mortgage, let's just chip away at that. So in my head, I was like $12,000. That's a cool first goal. I've been in the collective for 7 months and I've already done $6,000 worth of grant writing work. And I have about $5,000 to $6,000 already contracted for the next few monws.
Which is roughly $12,000.
Yeah. When I look back, I'm like, oh my goodness, like I'm really doing it.
It's so much fun. That $12,000, or even if you just did $1,000 to your mortgage, it matters. It makes a huge difference.
And it's been beautiful because I didn't have to give up, right? I didn't have to give up homeschooling. I didn't have to give up time with my kids. I didn't have to give up traveling. I'm able to do this and build this foundation. And then as they get older, I can get it bigger and bigger and take it wherever I want it to go.
And lots of cool entrepreneurs paying their kids to do the work. And then also that money stays, that wealth stays in your family. You're building for future generations. There's a lot of incredible wealth building tools that I had no idea about growing up in a nonprofit education space that open when you can be flexible in entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
So we're going to end with some rapid fire questions. What is one word to describe your dream lifestyle?
Flexibility.
What is your next vacation spot?
I think maybe Norway.
Favorite podcast?
I love health podcasts. So like the fasting method is one of my favorites.
What are you reading right now?
Why We Get Sick by Benjamin Bickman.
Last TV show you binged?
Emily in Paris.
What is your superpower?
Anticipating needs. needs.
As you connected the dots through your life, you've realized that you want to help people solve complex problems, simplify the complexity, help people maybe eat the elephant one piece at a time. It's really beautiful. And it's something that, one, we can only look at in hindsight. And I want to give voice to when we think about what we want to do early in our life. What do you want to be when you grow up? You don't get phrases like, I want to help people solve complex problems. What job description is that? And so you've given voice to something that I think is really real, of feelings that people have when they think about what they want to do in life, but don't know how to articulate that or don't know what that looks like. And so I just want to honor that, one, you have this beautiful reflection of the value that you add, your superpower, and that gives voice then to other people who have feelings like that and the permission to go find what that career looks like to do that thing. So thank you so much.
It was my pleasure sharing this.
I can't wait to see how this business grows as you grow, as your kids grow, and as your family travels the world.
I'm very excited.